Welcome. In this lecture, we would understand about rural tourism. So, this edition wholly focuses on rural tourism. Some of the very important things that have been covered could be part of your objective question, as well as for those with geography optional, this topic becomes extremely important. So, the initial section is specifically talks about how tourism sector has been a big boost to employment. However, of the total employment, we talk about only 8% is employed with tourism, but with the export it is further small, with only 5.8% of the exports and 6 to 7% of the GDP. We have a very important thing that in terms of international tourism, India's market share is very small in compared to Spain, US, China, UK and Thailand. So we can actually, despite the fact that we have numerous World Heritage sites, rich legacy, there have to be certain developments that have to be laid down in the fields for boosting the tourism. Now, to boost the tourism, there have been various plans: railway, hotels, tourist trains, hill railways, railway heritage tourism, railway heritage buildings have been brought, Atmanirbhar Bharat and tourism for Atmanirbhar Bharat, where we say the rural economy accounts for 46% of the income, 68% population, 64% expenditure and 33% of the savings. We can have the regions of desert, mountains, plains being turned into rural tourist centers. But this rural tourism faces a lot of challenge, mainly a huge distance, no proper transportation, lack of basic facilities that are available, lodging and fooding is not available with huge range, and there is inconsistencies with infrastructure. It could be water supply, it could be electricity, telecommunication, and as a result the rural tourism get hampered. So, bringing in better connectivity, bringing in more advertisement of the rural areas, creating popular destinations, bringing out the craft of the rural area, developing the rural projects and glorifying the regions of rural centers could be some of the ideas. For example, in Meghalaya, Mayanlong is one of the cleanest villages in Asia, and that has been developed in such a way where Khasi tribes actually bring in a homely view to the tourists there, and such models can be further developed. There can also be public-private partnership. Special focus tourism can be developed. For example, it could deal with cultures, festivals, ecotourism, agriculture tourism, marine, leisure, adventure, yoga, wellness, tribal food, bird watching, or religion or mythology. Those could be some of the areas that could be focused for developing the rural tourism in a better and a pronounced way. Also, One India, One Tax system for tourist vehicles, bringing in a better signage with English along with the regional language, linking of the heritage spots, promoting local tourists with local handicrafts, local food, local cuisines, focus on digital media could be some of the ideas, and then thematic circuits. For example, Northeast circuit, Buddhist circuit, then you have spiritual circuit, Sufi circuit, Tirthankar circuit. So based on different religions, based on different sectors, for example, tribal, desert, ecotourism, there can be various points which could be connected across India. So for example, in Bihar, Bitiwara, Chandriya and Turkolia are some of the regions. In Kerala, it is the Malnad Malabar cruise tourism project which has been developed. The next is Adopt a Heritage, Apni Dharohar, Apni Pehchan project. Now this focuses on building in visitor facilities at heritage centers, monuments, providing e-visa for various countries under tourism, e-business, e-medical assistant, attendant and e-conference. Then focusing on internet, cloud computing, bringing the rural area onto the social media, developing the digital platforms, digital technology, how India is empowered to work, focusing on celebrating the National Tourism Day as 25 January, which was celebrated recently on the theme of rural and community centric tourism, and therefore these are some of the aspects that could be taken into account for rural development classically. Now, best tourism village, Ponchampalli in Telangana has been given as the best tourist village. Then we have other nominations as Kongthong from Meghalaya, Chitrakoot in Chhattisgarh, Kevadi in Gujarat, Konoma in Nagaland and Kumarkonam in Kerala. Ponchampalli Ikat got a GIS status in 2004. Now, our urban mission, the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee our urban mission has been started, and 300 our urban clusters with thematic economic growth have been proposed. There are 21 components which have been decided. Prasad is another scheme where we are focusing on pilgrimage, rejuvenation and spiritual augmentation. So identifying the various pilgrimage sites, linking those as centers of tourism. Cultural interpretation of the national tourism policy, which was laid down in 1982, the first policy where we focused on sustainable tourism. Then sixth fifth year plan also had investments in hospitality sector. We had the foundation for edu-tourism as a new form of tourism. Many important sites, for example Thanjore, Banaras, Mandu had been built and they had been brought into light. Now, the National Tourism Policy 2002 focuses on 7 key areas: Swagat, Suchna, Suvidha, Suraksha, Sahyog, Samrachna and Safai. That is welcoming, information, facilitation, safety, cooperation, infrastructure and cleanliness. So 7S are the motive under the National Tourism Policy 2002. A very important question for your mains examination. And then we are focusing on endemic tourism in certain areas. For example, Ladakh, Kutch, Uttarakhand could be endemic areas where tourists would be there all the months of the season. We believe in the concept of Atithi Devo Bhava, that guests are like God, and this has been taken from Shikshavali of the Taittiriya Upanishad. So again an important question for your prelims this time. Then we also talk about the unfriendly practices that happen sometimes and check that they do not happen further. So there was another draft policy that was released in 2021, and that focuses on creating heritage sites, monuments with interpretation facilities, building up a strong PPP model, which is public-private partnership model. Different ministries should cooperate along with the Ministry of Tourism to promote it. And then a national mission for cultural mapping started in 2017. Hamari Sanskriti Hamari Pehchan Abhiyan was developed to link all art forms and artists. Dekho Apna Desh scheme started in 2020, where a Parivartan Parv was started. And the idea was with a simple message that tourism is not for a specific segment of the society but for all. And 80% of those would be between 20 to 45 years of age. Now, some of the centers that have developed. So, in Assam, Sualkushi is the area where you have silk weaving. Hajo is known for the Sufi saints as well as Buddhism, and it was believed that the Mahaparinirvana of Buddha took place at Hajo according to the Lama sect. Mayong and Jating are some of the important centers. So there are various. For Hajo, we say there are 5 religious shrines, 4 of Hindu temples, 1 of Sufi shrine has been witnessed there. Originally we had Tibetan concepts, Devdasi concepts, which started in Assam after Vashishta Muni had brought it to the temple of Kamrup, and there have been similar traditions which have been seen by Labha Buddhism. A Muslim shrine has also been seen by a group of Auliyas or the saints led by Ghiyasuddin Auliya in 16th century, and that's in the temple in Pau, Makkah on the Gauradanchal hills. So those are some of the important centers which are revered by both Muslims and Hindus. Now the next is in Manipur, Andhro. It is the home to the Manipur's first settlers, where we call it Handro, means village of the people who came back, and this belonged to the Lui community. A cultural complex, a museum has been built. The Panam Nithungo is a village deity in the Methi Mutumba. This is one of the ancient temple which has considered to be having a sacred fire, which is there since time immemorial. Now in Mizoram, it is Thenjival. Thenjival is nearly 90 kilometers from Aizawl, the capital of Mizoram. Colorful, picturesque view, traditional art and craft, historical site, deer park are some of the interesting features. And then you have Hamphyang, a traditional village which is known for the traditional foods for the visitors here. Closer to this, there are waterfalls, the Tuirang waterfall and the Vantang fall, both of them emptying into the Vanva river. Again, a very important aspect. There is another cave which is Guanchili cave, which has an important folk story where a lady falls in love with a snake. In Nagaland, Khonoma is one of the historical centers nearly 20 kilometers from Kohima, the capital. Now this is where Angami tribes actually live, one of the important tribes of Nagaland, and there were two important battles that have been fought here, and it has passed down from the word of mouth that how Angami men had laid down their lives to protect the region. So there are another features which are associated. The traditional gates, which are known as Kharu here, are located. Good homestay facilities are there. It is also called as Asia's first green village, and village forest has been protected in this region. A state bird of Nagaland, which is the endangered peasant, the Baital Trongpang, has been protected in this area. In Arunachal, it is the Zero Valley on the Pang River. We had numerous villages across the Zero Valley. It is a wonderful site for witnessing, bird watching and hiking. Dolomandu is one of the major destinations. There are various ancient temples. The Meghna Cave Temple and the Siddheshwar Nath Shivling are some of the important ones. Then we have Matabari, the Tripura Sundari Temple, which is 55 kilometers from Agartala, is known for the Hindu mythology as one of the Shakti Peeths, and the Matabari temple is the Shakti Peeth, and it is believed that Vishnu had cut off the body of Mata Sati here after her death with a Sudarshan Chakra. There are 51 pieces of her body which fell to different parts across the country, and they have been demarcated at Shakti Peeth. At Matabari, it was the right foot, and therefore it is called as Mata Sati. Now we have another important Ma Kali centers and idols which have been located here. Mayanlong, as we already discussed, is one of the cleanest villages in Asia and as well as one of the major clean villages in the world. It is known as God's own garden, locally called as, because it is known for community-based ecotourism. There is a living root bridge near to it, which is one of the major destinations. Bamboo bridges, bamboo houses are some of the interesting things to see around. Then we have tourism infrastructure. So one of the interactions of Mayanlong has been covered in a separate class, so just you can take a look onto that lecture separately. Now tourism infrastructure development is important. International tourism arrival is a prominent indicator, and we have seen that we are trying to give boost to the tourism arrivals in India based on 3A approach: attraction, accessibility and accommodation. If the attraction places are attractive, they are accessible and provide good accommodation, then definitely tourists would inflow. But how this concept of tourism evolved is an interesting story. So it was in the 16th century grand tours started. They were for young aristocrats, but those were the high class people, and it was related to a specific community or a class, so the growth was not that massive. However, in 1960s we saw a rapid change and the tourism started for the masses. There were geopolitical changes with industrial revolution, more mobility, better communication facilities and a good transformation, that we say democratization of tourism started, and this was one of the terms which was used by John Array. Now the platform for tourism, Jafar Jafari, who is one of the major academicians, says that it is based on various platforms. The first is advocacy platform, which says that international mass tourism started in 1960s and it was mainly an economic phenomena for generating more economic growth. Then it was a cautionary phenomena where we are focusing on academics predominantly for educational purpose. Then it was an adoptancy phenomena in 1980s where we started to identify the negative impacts of tourism and move towards sustainable tourism or alternative tourism, with ecotourism, community tourism, ethical tourism and sustainable tourism as one of the major initiatives. To develop tourism, transport is an indeed integral structure. So 7 main types of Indian routes have been classified. India has the lowest density of expressways in the world. Some of the well-known expressways have been given here, and under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana we are trying to do a good connectivity to the rural vicinities. Water transport has been strengthened through the Sagarmala project, and Government of India has also boosted the Inland Waterway Authorities, which is a statutory body for waterways in India. Under the air transport Udan scheme, which is Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, is one of the schemes that is started for the next 10 years, where where the underserved airports would become affordable and smaller airports would be connected. Multimodal connectivity through the Gati Shakti National Plan for multimodal connectivity, a digital platform that would bring in various ministries and departments together to have a much more strengthened infrastructure plan. Developing tourism in the regions of Jammu Kashmir, high quality pine deodar fir trees, and then apple, walnut, almond, pear, cherry orchards can be seen. The regions of Pampore, how they have been developed, the saffron fields, how they have grown, the lavender cultivation. Dal Lake is one of the major centers. The various Sufi temples have been, the Sufi sites have been designed, and then there are historical relations with the various regions, the meadows, the glaciers can be witnessed. Some of the important destinations in the region of Jammu Kashmir have been mentioned. Post-pandemic, we had seen a sudden decline, but how we are trying to boost the post-pandemic tourism is mainly through Ayush, which is Heal in India, bringing in more tourists internationally for various purposes. Those could be economic sectors. There have been a significant job loss of nearly 40 million direct or indirect jobs in the tourism sector recently, but we are working with various technologies. For example, Taj Hotel and ITC are now working with keyless rooms, digital menus, robot services, QR codes for online ordering, contactless payments, clear rooms, auto rickshaw drivers and street vendors now accepting UPI payments, immersive walkthroughs before taking a booking at a place. Then we have Amadeus Rethink Travel Global Survey, which says 84% of the travelers said that technology would increase their confidence to travel because people get acquainted to the region. They have more confidence that they would reach that region and not fall into a problem. There are various indigenous tourism for rural livelihood projects in Karaikund and Kazumalai in Tamil Nadu. Then we have another revival methods which talk about responsible tourism for sustainability, wellness tourism, Ayush tourism, boosting the performance, bringing in schemes like Sathi, which is system for assessment, awareness and training for hospitality industry to implement safe operations in hotels, restaurants and related establishments, 24/7 toll-free helpline and 12 international languages being given by Ministry of Tourism, exploring the various tourist potential sites, introducing new Vande Bharat trains, bringing in religious tourism packages like Buddhist Circle, Ramayan Trail, Royal Rajasthan Tours. ITC started the Ramayan Yatra special trains in 2021. So those are some of the ways through which we are trying to boost the rural tourism in one way or the other. So that was for today. We'll be covering Yojana and Kurukshetra and Down to Earth on a regular basis. So don't miss the updates from our side. And as I mentioned, this was a very important edition. Some of the very important places have been mentioned, very important for your UPSC prelims geography section as well as your geography optional. Rural tourism, National Rural Tourism Policy 2022, important for your GS mains 2022 and 2023 as well. So those are some of the things we have covered. Wish you good luck. Thanks for joining in.